guys. Greetings from Hawaii. I am currently in Ka'anapali, Maui. I'm in the middle of a 13-day tour. We're about to go over to Molokai tomorrow. We'll be exploring there for 3 days before heading back to Oahu. And I thought I had to jump on really quick because, man, these air traffic controller stories, the reports of delays at the airport, everything seems to be getting pretty chaotic, and I just wanted to kind of weigh in on it here. A couple weeks ago, even before the air traffic controllers went without pay, I was at a conference, and this woman just was completely stressed out, and I started talking to her, and she was telling me she was super stressed because of her flight the next day. She was worried that she wasn't going to make it home. And I said, well, is your flight delayed? She said, well, no, not yet. I said, okay, well, just take it hour by hour then. She was just really, really anxious about taking the flight, even though nothing had seemingly happened yet. And the same thing happened at the beginning of this tour. I went into my office. Some of the staff members were just pretty concerned about people arriving on time and people getting here. And everyone arrived on time. There was no problem. I've been flying for the past couple weeks. I haven't had any problems. I've been reading the articles, the headlines, and the gist of them about the flight delays increasing. So I just thought I would take a look and see, okay, how many more flights are actually being delayed and how far off of normal are we? So I found this article from, let me pull it up here, KTVU Fox, San Francisco. Headline, air travel delays are increasing amid government shutdown. And it gives one of those little briefs of the story. Most people just read the headline. Now they have a briefing area with bullet points. So the brief says, air traffic control operations in the U.S. are experiencing significant flight delays at major airports, and it's likely going to get worse as the government shutdown continues. All right, well, that sounds pretty bad. On Sunday evening at SFO, about 1 of every 6 departing flights was leaving late. Oh, that sounds pretty bad, too. Third bullet point, delays are exacerbated by a national air traffic controller shortage, which is further aggravated by sick calls and no pay during the government shutdown. All right, well, it sounds like we're in a pretty bad situation here. The article starts off repeating that. It says, often weather causes flight delays and cancellations, but the long-nagging national air traffic controller shortage, aggravated by sick calls and no pay during the shutdown, contributes mightily to the issue. They have a whole section here talking about how it's the perfect storm because TSA security employees are also working without pay, causing huge staffing issues. It says all 3 major New York City airports, both major Houston airports, Atlanta, Chicago, Boston, Seattle, San Fran, Miami, all crucial airline system hubs, it points out, are reporting delays. Man, if you were just kind of looking into this article, you would be like, wow, we're in deep shit here. Next section, this is the third section. On Sunday evening at SFO, San Francisco Airport, about 1 in every 6 departing flights was leaving late. Then it goes to say, though the delays were not significant in many cases, some passengers told KTVU that Sunday's events made them weary. Then it has a quote from a guy whose flight was delayed and got changed to another flight that got delayed. It's like, okay, he was forced to rent a car, drive 6 hours. That sucks. Definitely been there. Okay. And then the article ends with some quotes from other passengers talking about how risky it is. It's bad for the air traffic controllers and the TSA workers. They have to be 100% accurate, and they're not getting compensated fairly. And yeah, just so you read this article, and it's like, wow, we're in big trouble. But what's the one thing missing from this article? A little bit of context, right? 1 in 6 flights were leaving late. What's normally? How many flights are normally delayed? That would be the first question that comes to my mind. Let's click on another one. Let's see. This Business Insider piece. So this one's a little older. This is from October 9th. But the headline caught my eye. So let's do this one. Here's the headline. If you're flying during the government shutdown, you're 10 times more likely to be delayed by staff shortages than normal. Planning a flight soon? It's 10 times as likely to be delayed to short staffing as the government shuts down. Historically, there's been about 5% of delays attributed to staffing issues in our towers, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said Wednesday. The last couple of days, it's been 53%. Well, that sounds horrible. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. This one from CBS News. Headline. This was just out today. Headline. Brace for travel delays as government shutdown drags on, experts warn. Let's take a look. The government shutdown on the cusp of becoming the longest in U.S. history. Almost 6,000 flights were delayed on Sunday, November 2nd. New York Liberty Airport on Sunday had a 4-hour ground delay, while staffing triggers were reported at airports including Nashville, Tennessee, Jacksonville, Florida, Austin, Texas, Denver. Airport delays are going to get worse, said Sean Duffy. Okay, and I'm just looking through this article now. I'm just trying to find some numbers where this journalist put in some comparison. No, so nothing in here. So there's not a lot of context, and I really am sensitive to this because the whole point of the news is to provide the whole story. So how worried should we be? How should we react? We have this woman at the conference, people with my tours, just very worried. These headlines are causing anxiety. So what's the context? Well, it really wasn't that hard to figure out. I just went to the website for the Bureau of Transportation from the United States Department of Transportation, and I found out that so far this year, the percentage of flights delayed on average is 22.52%. So that's about 1 in 5 flights. So 1 in 6 flights is 16%. And this is, let me pull it up again, 22.52%. So that's actually lower than what it normally is, the percentage delayed. Okay. Well, that's weird. None of the articles said that. In 2024, the percent of flights delayed was 22.72%. 2023, 22.70%. 2022, 21.6%. So, and then basically 2016 through 2019, it was about 17%, 19%, 18%, 19%. The pandemic year, well, let's just throw that out. That was a weird year. That was only 9% somehow. 2021, 15, about 16%. That's really weird. Why are all these articles having these doom and gloom outlooks when, for example, in that article that was written, it said 1 in 6 of flights were delayed? That's actually less than normal. How is this a journalistic article? How can you be a journalist and not include this context? This is insane. We are in big trouble in the future going forward. I spent a lot of the day looking at these articles. It took me a long time to find one, and I just want to give it credit. WMUR 9 in New Hampshire ran a story from the Associated Press, and they wrote this long article. You have to go pretty far down into the story, but they finally did. They said, so far, most of the delays have been isolated and temporary. Aviation analytics firm Cirium said that normally about 20% of all flights are delayed more than 15 minutes for a variety of reasons. The data tracks as of Tuesday, and this article is from October 31st, so last week. So as of last week, the data showed there has not been a dramatic increase in the total number of delays overall since the shutdown began on October 1st. Nearly 80% of the flights at a sample of 14 major airports nationwide have still been on time this month. Okay, so what are we even talking about? It's insane. This drives me bonkers, and I see these people in my life freaking out about it, and it really bothers me. Like, why are we not adding this context? Why are we driving people crazy like this? Could your flight be delayed? Yeah, it might be, but that's pretty much could happen any day. There have been days that are bigger than others, it seems, but again, there's no context in those articles. You know, when it says, for example, 6,000 flights were delayed this one day. Here's an article from afar from 2023, but again, the percentage of flights canceled was essentially the same between 2023 and now. And this is an article about Sunday, June 25th, 2023. More than 8,000 flights were canceled nationwide, 40,000 flights delayed. That was weather and stuff, but I guess my point is that we've had big days in the past where something has caused it. Granted, we do not want it to be caused by a government shutdown, but it's really not like that many flights? I can look into it more. But the point is that journalists should be providing this context. And for that context not to be there is pretty troubling. So that's the source of this emergency podcast for me, just to let you guys know, just chill out. It's really not that much different right now than normal. Now, that could change in the future. I'm not saying it won't change. I'm not saying it won't. It might not get worse. If the government's still shut down by Thanksgiving, which is 3 weeks from now, I mean, that could be a disaster, but it might not be a disaster. We don't really know. As of right now, the data is really not suggesting that there's been a significant amount of delays, more than usual. I don't really know what else to say about it. The data is what it is. The data is what it is. So we can complain. We can try and imagine the scenario where the sky is falling. We can write these articles about how bad it's going to be in the future. I don't know if this is more just posturing by, a lot of these quotes are from Sean Duffy, from the Transportation Secretary. Maybe he's got an agenda, which of course he does. Maybe there's a reason he's saying that. Maybe there's a reason they're being written the way they are without the context. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that I'll post the link in this episode description. You can go to the statistics and look at them. And finally, the AP reporting that there has not been a major increase in overall delays. And remember, guys, a delay is a delay if it's over 15 minutes in these statistics. So if your delay is 30 minutes, it's really not a gloom and doom situation like these articles are making it out to be. You'll probably still get to your destination on time. So don't worry about it. Let's just see what happens day by day. When you look at these articles, if they're not providing context, look in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. There is an X. Click on it and just move on. Move on. Best of luck with your travels coming up, and we will see you next time.
Now I'm riding the terrain, flying high up once again. Got my crew sitting healthy and my boo living wealthy. Level 99, never settle in my mind. So I pedal and I climb up the pedestal and find almighty weapon. So I calm, lightly step into the castle. Satchel, tackled, wrestled down the corridor where I'm grounded through the floor. Roundhouse into my core, down, out, and through the door. Sword down at my side, I gotta round up and ride. Face boss, break jaws till I take off. Face off, stop and swing my serious strike. This is it. Take the title, disappear in the night to the whole wide world. Got the keys to the kingdom overseas with the wisdom guarantee that my rhythm hit the whole wide world. Slay the boss in the castle when we cross final battle. Then I walk out and travel to the whole wide world. Got the keys to the kingdom overseas with the wisdom guarantee that my rhythm hit the whole wide world.